Hello, it's Rebecca from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today I'm designing a layout for Papermaze and I'll be using the Carta Bella Let's Celebrate collection. So I started off by cutting a circle from a sheet of the basil cardstock from the Matchmaker pack, but my silhouette machine decided to eat the cardstock and cut completely wrong. So I then had to make the circle bigger to try and cut out the bit that had gone wrong. So my circle ended up a lot bigger than I wanted. And then I've also cut the number 4 out of the same cardstock. And my idea today is it's based on a layout that I scrap lifted by Christine Mayer last year. And it involved a lot of torn patterned papers, and I really loved it and really enjoyed the scrap lift. So I wanted to do something similar on this layout and really use some of the patterned papers. So I've got 3 patterned papers here. I've got the one with the stars on, it's called the Vintage Candle Packets, and the stars are on the B side. Then I've got this one here that I'm tearing now, has got those like party blower things. God, I can't remember what they're called now, but that's called Hip Hip Hooray. And then this third one I'm tearing up now is the B-side of Make a Wish. And I'm just roughly tearing the pieces in about 2-inch strips. And the idea is I'm going to layer them all across this piece of cardstock, overlapping. And what I'll do is the bottom edge I'm going to raise up on foam pads to add a lot of dimension and texture in. I tried to add a 4th patterned paper in as well. I had a little bit left of the 1 year older paper, which I really loved. So I thought I would try and use that top and bottom if I could, but it wouldn't have looked right just having random 2 strips. So I had to lose that and continue with the pattern. So this is effectively how my layout will look once I've got all those pieces stuck down in place. I'll replace the basil cardstock back over the top of it, so all you'll see is a circle of torn strips of patterned papers all layered on top of each other. So it just takes me a while now to stick those strips of paper down. I'm sticking the top end up with double-sided tape, and as I said, the bottom edge will be on foam pads so that each strip has a little bit of dimension. And this layout did take quite a bit of patterned paper. Of the 3 sheets I've used, I don't have an awful lot left of each. I did tear a couple of strips more than I needed of each one, which didn't help. But yeah, it does take quite a bit of patterned paper, but I really do love the effect of it once you've got that basil cardstock back over the top and you just see that circle of torn papers. I really do like how it looks. So I've just skipped through most of that. I was just repeating the process, so it's quite boring to watch, and it did take me a few minutes. So once all those pieces of torn paper are stuck down in place, I'm just sort of distressing the edges a little bit more to add a bit more texture. And you can see that top corner there where my silhouette machine ate my cardstock. I'm going to have to get creative and cover that up. So I didn't want to waste the cardstock because I really wanted to use this colour, because there's a lot of navy in my photo and there's navy in the pattern papers I've used. So I didn't want to get rid of it. So I've put foam pads all around the inside edge of the circle, and I'm now putting double-sided tape around the edge. And I was about to stick it down, and then I remembered that I wanted to add some hand stitching to the outside edge of that circle there. So you see me now having to pull all of those back off. So what I do to make life a little easier when hand stitching is I use a paper piercing tool. Oh sorry, I've had to turn the light off there because I couldn't see, it was casting a shadow over my cardstock. But yeah, I use a paper piercing tool and pierce the holes in my paper before stitching. I just find it a lot easier to get the needle through the paper that way. So I'm leaving a gap of about 1/2 centimetre between each hole, and then off camera I will use a green embroidery thread and just do a back stitch all the way around that circle. And there we go, as if by magic it's the following day and all my hand stitching is complete. I obviously sat in front of the telly and did that a lot. And I've replaced all those foam pads, and now I'm going to stick that cardstock down onto my torn paper strips, trying my hardest to line it up. They're both 12 by 12 bits of cardstock. I still end up having to trim some off the edge. I'm not quite sure how my basil cardstock managed to shrink, but I do have to just trim a bit off the edge there. So once that's all sorted, I can now think about getting my layout together. What I've done to cover up the mishap at the top there, I've used the same balloon template that I'd drawn for my previous layout with this collection, and I've just made 3 balloons that are going to sit up there. So the red one is the B-side of the 1 year older patterned paper. The green one is the B-side of Party Palooza, and the blue one is just a sheet of basil cardstock. In fact, I've got the offcut here, and that is basil blue. It's a lovely, almost turquoisey colour. So I've just drawn those balloons out. I've hand drawn a border around them again because there are a lot of black elements in this collection. The Make-A-Wish pattern paper that I've used there, the outline of the circles are all black, so I thought I would just add a black border to those balloons just to tie it all together a bit better. And I've added a couple of layers of patterned papers behind my photo as well. So again, the red and the green have gone behind my photos, and that works quite well because there's quite a bit of red and green in my photo. All the wrapping paper is red, and then he's got his red and green balloons in the background because red and blue are his favourite colours. So red and green are his favourite colours. Oh, don't tell him I said blue, he won't be happy. And now what I'm doing is just using some embroidery thread. So I've got red, green and blue again, and I'm just tying knots around the bottom of my balloons and just creating some balloon strings there so that it kind of grounds the balloons a bit and makes it less like they're just randomly floating on my layout. So I've just mixed them up a bit. So the green balloon has got a red thread, the blue balloon has got a green thread, and the red balloon has got blue thread. And I'm just raising those up on foam pads, again a bit more dimension and interest to the page. And then those strings are going to sit behind my photo, so I just tie them together and tape them down. I've added a layer of craft foam behind my photo just to raise that up and kind of draw your eye to it. And then I've got the element sticker sheet here. I'm just going to go through and select a few stickers. Before I do that, I'm raising my number 4 up with some craft foam as well, just to bring it to the same level as my photo, because I'm going to have it slightly overlapping my photo at the bottom. So now that's stuck in place, I can come back in with the stickers. I'm going to use the Happy Birthday banner sticker there as my title piece for this layout. And then I've just got a couple of smaller stickers I add. So the one above my photo there says "Let's Celebrate," and then I add a couple to the balloons at the top, and one that says "The Big Day," and another one that says "Birthday." And then a couple of presents I'm going to add, and I raise those up on foam pads as well. I've got a cake that I pop in, a party hat, and a couple of balloon dogs in red and blue. and then that sticker I've just stuck to the right of my photo there. It says "Let's Party," which is a bit ironic because we weren't allowed a party this year. His birthday was the beginning of January, so we were still in lockdown. So it's quite sad because it's the first year where he's been at school and he's actually got friends that we could have a nice big party and get all his friends together, but it wasn't to be this year, so we'll have to wait until next year for his first big party. So the last thing I'm going to do to this layout is jazz it up with some Nuvo Drops. So I've got 3 here. The blue one is called Caribbean Ocean, the green one is Apple Green, and the red one is called Red Berry. And I'm just alternating them, and I'm going to go around the whole outside edge of the number 4 and also all around the outside edge of the circle, so just running alongside my hand stitching there. So just take a while to do that. I'll fast forward it because you don't need to see me doing all of that, you'll be here a while. But I love Nuvo Drops. They are a great way to add some colour and texture to a layout, and they dry pretty much like enamel dots. So it's a much cheaper way of using enamel dots really. So there's a hint, buy lots of Nuvo Drops because I really do love them, they're brilliant. And this is something I learnt from watching Rachel Millington. She's like the Nuvo queen, so all my Nuvo Drops are inspired by her, and every time I pick my Nuvo Drops up now I think of her. So yeah, get some Nuvo Drops, they are great fun. So I'm almost finished here, just the last few Nuvo Drops to go on, and then that's my layout complete. So I will, I've got some close-ups at the end for you to see. If you would like direct links to all the products I've used in the store, please visit the Papermaze blog. You'll find all the links in the blog there, and there's also all the blogs from all the other design team members with their collections, so well worth having a read. But thank you very much for joining me. Please remember to subscribe, and I'll leave you with the close-ups. Bye.